Welcome back from that commercial break. Glad you're still hanging out with us here on the Cowboys Fan Show. Tyler Ortega, Scott Jeter, and in this one, we're going to have a look ahead to this coming week's game on Sunday, 2:30 kickoff once again. Dallas going into Lambeau, taking on the Green Bay Packers. Now, Vegas, the early lines have Green Bay favored by 4. So it's not even a field goal game. They're thinking Green Bay is going to get us by more than a field goal. I would probably take Dallas on the +4 on that.
I'd have to agree. Yeah, I think we have a legitimate shot of doing this. I mean, we're ahead of those guys in the power rankings for a reason.
Yeah.
We're playing good ball right now.
So let's get into Scott's keys to the game here for this week against the Packers. Give us key number 1, Scott.
Key number 1 is I think that you have to get pressure on Aaron Rodgers. I mean, playoffs a couple years ago, we go down. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, it was a catch.
Dez caught it.
It was a catch, but he had all day to throw, and you saw that. And you saw that last week when he's going against the New York Giants. Is he had all day to throw that. And if you look at the stats with their offense, they're ranked like 25th, 27th in the league. They're not getting a lot of passing yards. They're getting a ton of rushing yards on the ground, and that's because they're jumping out to early leads, and that's because he hasn't been tested. So if you don't get pressure on Rodgers and you let them jump out to an early lead, then they control the game, and we can't let them do that.
Yeah, and you said it right there. They're 10th in the league running the ball, 12th in the league running the ball, 27th passing. And I think the way that the Dallas front line played on Sunday against Cincinnati, I think if they're able to replicate that performance and really get the pressure. Don't give Aaron Rodgers that time to survey the field, go through his progressions, because Aaron Rodgers is, I'd say Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady are 1A and 1B. They're in their own tier of quarterbacks in the NFL. But if Rodgers has that time, he's going to shred the defense.
Absolutely right. And then they jump out to those early leads, and then they have the ability to run that ball, and that's when they put teams in trouble, which actually brings me to point number 2.
Give it to us.
Okay, point number 2 is we have to dictate the pace of this game. We have to be able to run this ball. Now, Green Bay does have the #1 rush defense in the NFL this year. Up to this point, they're only allowing 43 yards per game. It's like 42.5. So they're doing a good job, but it's like we talked about in key number 1, they're jumping out to early leads. And when you do that, you can't run the ball against teams like this. So we went against Cincinnati. Of course, at home, we're going to be in Lambeau, but I believe that they have a much better defensive line than Green Bay has. They have better tackles, absolutely. Right. And we were actually just able to manhandle those guys up front. We won that game in the trenches, and we're going to do that again here.
You said it. They give up 42.5 yards per game on the ground. Zeke had 42 yards on the very first drive on Sunday on 4 carries.
Yeah.
On 4 carries. So I think Dallas will be more than able to run the ball on this team. And then you get the change of pace backs in there, like Lance Dunbar or Alfred Morris, who had himself a good day as well behind Zeke. I think Dallas, like you said, their offensive line is the single best unit in the NFL.
They're playing lights out right now.
They're just lights out. They're dominating. They're manhandling people in the trenches. I think Dallas is going to be more than able to run the ball on these teams.
Yep.
So give us key number 3 now.
Well, we touched on key number 1 and key number 2, and they kind of go hand in hand. If you get pressure on Rodgers, they don't jump out to that early lead, then you don't have to pass. You can run the ball, which was key 2, which brings us to key 3 is time of possession. So we have got to be able to dictate the pace of this game. We've got to play our ball. We've got to get them out of their comfort zone, and I think that's how we win this game.
And Dallas has been doing really well with the time of possession stats as of late. We've seen them against Chicago and Cincinnati. They've had majority of the time of possession, about 35 minutes a pop, and that's big for the defense. The defense is not out there getting tired. Those big guys on the defensive line. That's when, we talked about it a couple weeks ago against San Francisco. Their defensive line just got tired, and that's when Zeke started killing them in the second half. Had like 90-something yards just in the second half of that game.
Absolutely. We'd be #1 in the league in time of possession right now if it wasn't for last week, but we actually let them throw underneath, and that really skewed the stats. But when we're able to control games, we win them.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dak Prescott has just been so poised. And in fact, this is the first time in NFL history that one team has had a rookie quarterback that's passed for over 1,000 yards and a rookie running back that's run for over 500 yards in the first 5 games of this season. So stick around, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with our MVPs from last week and our predictions from this week. You're watching the Cowboys Fan Show.